Good morning, sir.
So, ma'am has joined now. Ma'am, shall we start?
Yes, please, Masood. Dr. Masood,
Okay.
please go ahead.
Okay. So, good morning, everyone. It is
Good
my
morning,
honor
sir.
to introduce
Good
Professor
morning,
Uruz
sir.
Ilyas for today's session. Professor Orus Ilyas, currently holding the distinguished position of Professor in Biodiversity and Environmental Studies at the Department of Wildlife Sciences. With a career spanning over 2 decades, Professor Ilyas has been at the forefront of field research, particularly focusing on the ungulate community in India since 1995. Her expertise is deeply rooted in the high altitude Himalayan region, where she dedicated over 20 years to unraveling the intricacies of mammalian life, especially ungulates. Professor Ilyas earned her PhD with groundbreaking thesis on the ungulates of the Himalayas, laying the foundation for her subsequent impactful contribution to the field. Early in her career, she served as a young scientist under the fast track program of DST, focusing on the conservation of musk deer in the challenging terrains of Uttarakhand Himalayas. Her dedication to wildlife conservation extends globally as she has served 4 terms as the Asia coordinator of the Deer Specialist Group, showcasing her commitment to international collaboration in biodiversity conservation. Before joining the faculty of the Department of Wildlife Sciences in 2009, Professor Ilyas actively participated in various projects spanning community engagement, species conservation, and ecology. These projects were funded by reputable organizations such as WSI, WWF India, UGC, and UFT Theory projects. Her roles varied from being a conservation volunteer to serving as a principal investigator or project leader, demonstrating her versatility and leadership in the field. Professor Ilyas is not just a researcher but a prolific author with 4 published books to her credit. One of these books holds prestigious imprint of Taylor and Francis. Additionally, she has authored over 50 scientific papers in national and international peer-reviewed high-impact factor journals. Her contribution extends to more than 20 chapters in edited books, solidifying her status as a thought leader in the field. The recognition of Professor Ilyas' exceptional contribution extends beyond academia. She has secured numerous extramural grants from UGC, ACRB, CSIR for her work on ungulates in the high altitude Himalayas and tiger reserves in central India. In 2019, she successfully secured 20 lakhs from the corporate sector under their corporate social responsibility to organize the first international conservation conference. Professor Ilyas is not confined to the boundaries of her laboratory. She is a global academic ambassador, having visited more than 15 countries for various academic programs. She has chaired technical sessions abroad, including in New Zealand. Her impactful public engagement includes delivering talks at renowned institutions such as ISAR Mohali, being invited by the Wellcome Trust DBT India, Alliance to speak at St. Stephen College, Delhi University. Her contributions extend to the academic community as a respected reviewer for distinguished journals including Mammalia, Journal of Zoology, Mammalian Biology, Threat and Taxa, Scientific Reports, and Oryx. Her commitment and excellence in STEM discipline were recognized when she received the recognition for her excellent academic achievement in STEM discipline by APJ Abdul Kalam Center for STEM Education and Research and the International Society of Muslim Women in Science. Adding another feather to her cap, on January 9, 2024, Professor Ilyas' major research project received approval from SERB, Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. This project, titled Assessing the Population Ecology of Himalayan Tar for Conservation Planning in Western Himalayas, secured funding of around 60 lakhs. Over the next 3 years, Professor Ilyas and her team will traverse the Himalayan region from Kashmir to Uttarakhand, contributing significantly to the understanding and preservation of Himalayan Thar population. Professor Ilyas' research interests encompass a broad spectrum, including mammalian ecology, biodiversity conservation, conservation genetics, population ecology, herbivore ecology, wildlife policy and legislation, quantitative ecology, and human-animal conflict. Her multifaceted contribution make her a beacon in the wildlife sciences, inspiring the future generation and steering conservation efforts towards a sustainable and harmonious coexistence between humans and wildlife. Now, I would like to request Professor Orus Ilyas for her talk to participants. Over to Professor Orus Ilyas, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum and very good morning, one and all. Before I start, I would like to thank to the HRDC for inviting me to deliver, to interact with the wonderful audience, wonderful teachers, wonderful people. And after that, I would like to thank to Dr. Masood Ahmad Khan, my junior colleague, very dynamic, very energetic, very promising junior colleagues, Ahmad Masood Khan and Dr. Kaleem Ahmad, for giving my so much elaborated introduction that was not needed, Dr. Masood. Anyways, thank you very much. And today I'll be interact. It won't be a one-way class, or it won't be a one-way lecture. It will be an interacting lecture, and I hope you all should get up, open your eyes, and join my lecture with the full enthusiasm. So thank you very much, Ahmad Masood. With your permission, I would like to start.
Yes, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah. Let me share my slide. So is it visible to everyone, my slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Not yet.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Okay, madam.
Yes, madam.
Sorry. So today
Yes, ma'am.
will be since last 2-3 days, you all are listening about the biodiversity, why biodiversity is important and its conservation. Now I'll be taking a little bit different. I will be talking about the biodiversity conservation and the food security. Food security is a very very important component in for us, because we can survive without house, without but food, water, and shelter, food, air, and water, we cannot survive. So today, our main focus will be on the food security and why biodiversity conservation is important. So, what is biodiversity? Can anybody tell me what is biodiversity? No one. Everyone is sleeping right now. So, biodiversity is actually the biological variety and variability of life on Earth. Biodiversity is a measure of variation at the genetic, species, and ecosystem level. The World Conservation Monitoring Center, WCMC, of the United Nations Environmental Programme has identified a total of 17 mega biodiversity countries, and India is one of the 17 mega biodiversity countries. The main criteria for mega biodiversity country, biodiversity is actually whatever is available around us is biodiversity. And whatever we are using, whether around us, whether it's a table, chair, a house, or whatever, this is all the part of the biodiversity. We cannot sustain, we cannot live without without all these things which are coming from the nature. So everything, whether it's air, water, forest, natural resources, this is all the part of the biodiversity. So the World Conservation Monitoring Union, WCMC of the United Nations Environmental Program, has already identified 17 mega diverse countries, and India is one of the 17 mega biodiversity country. And this, the criteria of declaring any area as a mega biodiversity country is actually the endemism. Endemism, um, endemism is the species restricted to one biographical area on one region. That is endemism. The species which is found at one place are not distributed anywhere else in the world. So that is called endemism. The area which is having the high endemic species is very, very rich. And on the basis of the endemism, we usually declare any area as a biodiversity hotspot. So the more the endemism at different level, at a species level, genera level, and family level, means more diverse is the area. So India is one of the 17 mega biodiversity country, and these are the areas which are showing the mega biodiversity countries in different in on world map. And we can realize the most of the areas biographical, most of the biodiversity hotspots are very, very close to the equator, because equator, the humidity, temperature, everything is high, and that give rise to the actually the biodiversity hotspots. So currently, we are talking about the biodiversity because it is very important. Everything we are taking from the environment, and we are totally dependent on the resources, on the natural resources. Um, Plants are still better because they can make their food in the presence of the sunlight, because they have chlorophyll, and so in the presence of the sunlight, they can make, with the help of the chlorophyll, they can make their own food, but we cannot. We and the animal are totally dependent on the plants and the natural resources we are taking. Fodder, fuel, timber, food, everything is from the natural resources. So currently more than, and these natural resources are depleting. They are reducing in numbers. Their quantity, quality is compromising. The quantity is reducing. Currently, more than 42,100 species are in danger of extinction, which means 28% of all species evaluated, like 13% birds, 27% mammals, 28% crustacean, 31% sharks, and 34% conifer forest, coral, 36% coral reef, and around
Madam,
41% amphibians. They all are in danger of the extinction. If we won't protect them, we are going to lose them very soon.
excuse
Like
me, ma'am.
tiger. Yes,
I think your slides are not moving, ma'am.
is it?
Yes, yes. Now it is okay. Madam, please give it in
Yes,
slideshow
ma'am.
mode.
If it is in the slide mode, then it will automatically shift.
No, but I am doing. Can you see the moving slides?
Yeah, and right now we can see.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes,
It's
Yes,
ma'am.
okay
they
now.
are moving. Huh? This is my first slide. Can you see second slide?
Yes, I can see the second
Yes.
one.
Third?
Ma'am, this is third slide map
No,
presentation.
this is the third slide, ma'am.
Third slide.
So this is fourth one. Is it visible to everyone?
Oh,
No, ma'am.
it is third one, madam.
This is the third one, the map.
This one?
No, ma'am.
Map.
No, ma'am.
It's not moving actually.
Yes. Okay.
Right now it has moved.
Okay.
Now it is.
So if I keep it slides like this, can you see?
Yeah,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
yeah.
I'm changing my slides.
Yes, ma'am. Now it is
Yes,
moving.
ma'am. Now things are fine.
Okay, so I don't know. There is some problem with the uh, whole system. Anyways, so this is fine, I believe. So now we have, so these are the important species, their number are decreasing. So 42,100 species are in danger of extinction, which include the birds, mammals, crustaceans, sharks, conifers, coral reefs, and amphibians. So if we won't conserve all these, we are going to lose very, very important things on which we are dependent, our survival is dependent on. Suppose we are talking about the tiger. If we remove the tiger, tiger is at the top of the ecosystem, is at the top of the ecological pyramid. So if we want to conserve the tiger, the government is talking about the conservation of the tiger. If we want to conserve the tiger, means for the conservation of the tiger, we have to ensure the conservation, the number of the food item, the prey species should be available. So, to conservation of the tiger, we'll be conserving the herbivores, and to ensure the conservation and survival of the herbivore, we have to make sure that the food material should be ensured, should be protected. So it is not only the tiger, but the whole ecosystem we are protecting. So if we are losing this, the whole chain will be disturbing. India is very, very rich in this because it is one of the 17 mega biodiversity country. I have changed my slides. Can you see? Can you all see?
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, madam.
If you face any problem, just let me know. Okay. So India is again one of the 17 mega biodiversity country, and it is very, very rich. We have variety of habitat, like we have Himalayas, beautiful Himalayas. We have seashores. We have Gangetic plains. We have woodlands, evergreen forests. We have, so India is having 10 biographical zone on the basis of their topographical structure. So we have different kind of topography, and that has been divided into 10 biographical zones on the basis of the vegetation, on the basis of the temperature, humidity, and water. So India is very, very diverse. We have Ladakh, we have Kashmir, we have deserts, we have runs, we have sea coast. So you just name anything in the world and you will find in India. So India is very, very diverse, and it is one of the 17 mega biodiversity country. India alone contributes 7 to 8% of the global biodiversity. It has only 2.4% of the world's land area, but it has 8.1% of the world's species diversity. This include nearly 49,000 species of plants and over 1 lakh species of animal. India also represents 4 of the 34 globally identified biodiversity hotspots. These 17 mega biodiversity countries altogether have 34 globally identified biodiversity hotspots. We have already discussed what are the biodiversity hotspots. These hotspots are declared hotspots on the basis of the contribution of the biodiversity into the world biodiversity. So that that biodiversity is actually determined on the basis of the endemic species. Okay, the more the endemic species you have, the more the area is diverse. Endemic species means the species is confined to that area only. Like in Western Ghats, in Western Ghat, Nilgiri langur, you won't find anywhere in the world. Nilgiri langur is not available anywhere in the world. So that is the endemic species of Western Ghat, and that is why Western Ghat is one of the important species. Not on the basis of the one or two species, there is a number of species. Endemic species should be there along with other criteria to declare an area as a biodiversity hotspot. So at present, India is having 4 biodiversity hotspots, and they all are very, very rich. And those 4 biodiversity hotspots are the Himalaya, the Indo-Burma region, the Western Ghat, and Sandala. So these are the 4 biodiversity hotspots. So in a very brief, Western Ghats means a chain of hills that run along the western edges of peninsular India. These regions have moist deciduous forests and rainforest. The Western Ghats and the Northeast India receive rainfall more than 2000 millimeter, 200 centimeter rainfall. Means these areas are really rich, and because of the high rainfall, high humidity, they have tall trees above 30 to 40. I mean, up to 30 to 40-meter tall trees they have. So region shows high species diversity as well as high level of endemism. The second is the Himalaya, the Eastern Himalaya region encompassing Bhutan, Northeast India, and Southern, Central, and Eastern Nepal. Geologically young region with high altitudinal variation has nearly 163 globally threatened species, including the one-horned rhinoceros in that area. The third is the Indo-Burma, include entire Northeast India except Assam and Andaman, group of island, and Myanmar, Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia. Of the 13,500 vascular species found in Indo-Burma, 52% are endemic to the region. And that is the reason why this area is one of the biodiversity hotspots. 52%, whatever is present, vascular species, 52% are endemic, means you won't find 52% vascular species anywhere in the world. That is why this area is very rich, and that is why this area is one of the biodiversity hotspot. It spread over 2 million square kilometer of tropical Asia with a wide diversity of climate and habitat pattern in this region. The fourth biodiversity hotspot is Sundaland. Covers the western part of the Indo-Malayan archipelago, including Nicobar groups of islands and Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei, Philippines. This island have a rich terrestrial and marine ecosystem because they are connected. Our Andaman and Nicobar are connected with the sea water, and that is why we have a lot of diverse aquatic fauna in this area. So, on the world scale, in India stand a very good biodiversity, hold a very good biodiversity among the mammals. It's the ranking is eighth among birds, eighth ranking, reptiles fifth, amphibian 15th, and plants angiosperm 15th to 20th. These are the ranking of the at the world scale, India's world ranking. So we are very rich in mammals, bird, reptiles, amphibian, and definitely plants. So this is the value of the biodiversity. These are the importance of the biodiversity. We have biodiversity hotspot, and we want to conserve the biodiversity because it is very important for us, because we are using the biodiversity directly as well as indirectly. Directly means we are consuming, we are going into the forest, collecting fuel, wood, fodder, timber, food material from the forest. Whatever we are eating, we are sustaining on the basis of we are sustaining ourselves is directly coming from the forest, from the natural resources. So that is the direct value, that is the consumptive use value, which we are consuming. If we are going into the forest, collecting medicinal plant, means we are consuming directly. Second is the productive use. Among the direct use values, there are consumptive use values and the productive use value. Productive use value means we are productive for the income generation. We are making the medicine to sell out for the good, for the benefit of the human being. That is productive. Apart from the direct value which are getting from the environment, which are getting from the biodiversity, we have indirect values. Social and cultural values. We have many social and cultural values. Like if somebody in different religion, there are the people worship the nature and the natural things. Like we worship the people. People worshipping means we are not only worshipping, but we are protecting the people. People is such a huge tree that we can see lots of birds, lots of small mammals taking shelter under the people. We have sacred groups. Sacred groups means in UP we have a very popular sacred group that is called as the Nidhi One. I don't know how many of you know about Nidhi One. So Nidhi One is in the Vrindavan, and it's a saying that whosoever goes to the Nidhi One after the sunset never comes out, or in case if he comes out, it is either he or she loses his senses, dumb, deaf, or something. So basically, Nidhi One is the part of the Vrindavan, and in the Vrindavan that is not very far from in Mathura. So Nidhi One is the place where it is people says that Lord Krishna come out during the evening with the gopis for making the Ras Leelas. So that is again protected on the name of the god, and that is one of the sacred group for the. It is connected with the sentiments of the people. Ethical values. It is our moral responsibility to protect each and everything, plants and this thing. Aesthetic value. These are the indirect values of the biodiversity. Aesthetic value, in the scorching heat, when we are in Aligarh, we always try to go out for the summer vacation. Out, not to the hotter place, but to Himalayas, to Kashmir, to Uttarakhand, to Nainital, to Almora, because these areas during the summer, these areas are having that kind of natural beauty which actually give us a very pleasant feeling, very cool feeling. So that is the aesthetic value. The area is having the aesthetic value and optional value that we should protect. We should protect whatever we got from our parents, and we should protect something, rather lots of things for our next generation. So these are the values of the biodiversity, and we want to conserve because India has 50,000 known species of insects, very rich. Almost 18% of Indian plants are endemic to the country and found nowhere else in the world. Among amphibians found in India, 62% are unique to the country. Among lizards, of 153 species recorded, 50% are endemic. Among the flowering plants have a much higher degree of endemism. A third of these are not found elsewhere in the world. And um, a great diversity of cultivated crops and breeds of domestic livestock are also found. India is not only rich in the wild variety of the flora and fauna, but also we are very rich in the cultivated crops. We have more than 2,000 variety of the rice, pulses, variety of the vegetation. We have many, more than 28 variety of the rajmas we have. So we are doing experiment. We are increasing our horizon, and we are having more and more species just to ensure the food security. The traditional cultivars include 30,000 to 50,000 variety of rice and a number of cereals, vegetable and fruits. Gene banks have collected over 34,000 cereals and 22,000 pulses grown in India, and great marine diversity due to 7,500-kilometer long coastline. We have very long coastline. So these all we have in India, and because of that, we talk about the food security. The food security. What is the food security? To ensure, to promise the food for each and every family, for each and every individual. That is the food security. No one should sleep hungry. So food and nutrition security is achieved if adequate food quality, quantity, safety, social culture acceptability is available and accessible and satisfactorily used and utilized by all individuals at all time to live a healthy and active life. This is as per the Food and Agriculture Organization. So food security is important in all over the world, because and that food should not be quality compromised. That food should be the quality food that should have the enough quantity, and that should be safe for us. So before we proceed towards the food security, I would like you all to see one very good one very good video I would love you to see. Let me open the video, please. Just give me a moment. Okay, it was open actually. Fine. I will find. If you want to ask any question, you can stop me in between and you can always ask the question. So I got the video. Why I'm not able to open?
Madam, please start sharing your screen.
Yes, that's what I'm doing.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. This is the video. Just see carefully how biodiversity and the food security is connected to each other. Without biodiversity, we cannot talk about the food security. So this video explains everything. After that, we'll be talking about the food security. So this was the short movie which explains how why biodiversity is important. Each and every component is very, very important in the ecosystem. So let me share my slides. So this was this short movie made by the FAO, and they are explaining the small ant can contribute in the biodiversity, and without them, our sustenance is not possible. Our existence is not possible. So 1 billion people rely on the forest products for nutrition and income. 75% of world's population rely on biodiversity for primary healthcare. Products derived from genetic resources worth estimated $500 billion per year. Long tradition of managing forests for fuel. So these are the things we will be discussing, and there are we are working on the ecosystem, genetic resources to ensure the food security. So 1 billion people rely on the forest product for nutrition and income. We are taking food from the forest. We are taking the timber for our use, as well as we are selling out through the industries, making the industries so that we can have some income also. So whatever we are making, whatever we are selling, it is all for our own consumption or for the production, for the income generation. So government has made many laws and many legislation to ensure the food security and ensure the equal distribution system. So there are various legislation. We will be discussing some important legislation related to biodiversity and food security in India. So to ensure the biodiversity and food security in India, the government, the world actually thought of conserving the biodiversity, because we are totally dependent on the biodiversity. So on the consensus with many countries, more than 100 countries, a convention took place in Convention on Biological Diversity took place in 1992 at the Stockholm in Earth Summit for Conservation of Biodiversity. And under this convention, it was decided that every nation had to develop their biodiversity act. In India, the act was enacted in 2002 with the objective. We have objectives. And under this Convention on Biological Diversity, India made their own act, and that act says that that act is having three objectives: the conservation of biological diversity, that we should protect each and everything existing on the earth; the sustainable use of its component. Sustainable utilization of the component means we should be utilizing the natural resources in a way that both should be benefited. We as well as the environment. It should be the sustainable utilization. We both should be benefited, and this should not harm to us. And third is the fair and the equitable sharing of benefits arising out of utilization of the genetic resources. You might have heard about that America has taken the patent of this basmati, haldi, and all. But actually, basmati is growing in India. It is not growing in US or Europe. It is growing in a belt in Dehradun, and this has a very, very precious, very, very good quality of the rice, which we are growing. The Indians are growing in a particular area. So earlier, before this act, why this act was needed? Before this act, what was happening? The other countries were taking genetic material from our own country and making little bit of slight changes in the genetic material and saying this is our discovery, we have done it, so we should get the patent. Patent means they have the sovereign right over the product. So the product, the genetic material is from India, but they are selling it, they are modifying it, they are selling it at a very, very high price. Very, very high price. So this was not happening only just one species, but many species. So the different nation thought we should have the sovereign right over our own biological products, and that right that led to the Convention on Biological Diversity. And that convention says three objectives, which has been enacted in the Indian Act in 2002: the conservation of biological diversity, the sustainable utilization of the diversity, and third, and very important, is the fair and equitable sharing of benefits arising out of the utilization of the genetic resources. And how it works actually. The acts prohibit the following activities without the prior approval from the National Board of Authority, National Biodiversity Authority. Any person or organization, either based in India or not, obtaining any biological resources occurring in India for its research or commercial utilization, the transfer of the result of any research relating to any biological resources occurring in or obtained from India, the claim of any intellectual property right on any invention based on the research made on the biological resources obtained from India. So for this, we have three layers committee. Under this act, we have three layers committee to act in envisage a three-tier structure to regulate the access of biological resources. We have three-layer committee. One is at the national level, that's the National Biodiversity Authority, that the head office is in the Chennai. Then a state biodiversity board. Every state should have one biodiversity board. And third is the biodiversity management committee. So these are the three committees. One work at the national level, another, the state biodiversity board, works at the state level, and the biodiversity management committee. So if somebody, suppose if our neighboring country or the US wants some genetic material from India, they have to take permission. They have to reach to the National Board of Authority. And National Board of Authority will ask to the State Biodiversity Board, and the State Biodiversity Board, because that biological material belongs to some area, and that area is having biodiversity management committee that is made by the locals and some of the forest official, and those locals who are expert in the biodiversity identification and importance of the biodiversity. So if somebody wants basmati rice, they have to contact to the locals who are growing this project. And if they are taking, with the permission of the National Biodiversity Authority, State Biodiversity Board, Biological Management Committee, if they are taking that genetic material to do some experiment or to develop something new, so whatever benefit arising from this should be shared between the local community as well as the people who are making it. Whether it's a drug company, Himalayan drugs are dependent on the forest resources, and those resources belong to some community. So they have to take permission to obtain the product from the forest. The local community will be involved. They will be giving so whatever benefits they are arising from that product, if they are making any medicine, that benefit should be shared with the local community. For that, every state has got more than one biodiversity management committee. Every city should have Every district should have the management committee to ensure the conservation and sustainable utilization of the biodiversity. So the Act provides three authority with special funds and a separate budget in order to carry out any research project dealing with the biological natural resources of the country. So now nobody else will steal our natural resources. The second and the very important is the Protection of Plant Variety and Farmers' Right Act. That act came in 2001. So the objective of the Protection of Plant Variety and Farmers' Right Act 2001 is farmers are recognized as plant breeder and they can register their variety. Suppose if I am a farmer and I'm developing different variety of rajma, so I should be recognized. I should be given the recognition as the plant breeder because I have developed this. I should get the benefit. I should be recognized. That should be from my name. So farmers are recognized as plant breeder and they can register their variety. Farmers engage. This act give lots of power to the farmers. The government gave lots of power to the farmers through this act. Farmers engage in the conservation of genetic resources of land races and wild relative of economic plant and their improvement through selection and preservation and recognition and reward and protecting and traditional practices of the farmers of saving seeds from one harvest and using the saved seed either for sowing for the next harvest or sharing them with their farm neighbors. पहले भी ये होता था जो किसान होते थे the farmers used to save when if they are growing the wheat they used to consume all or either self consumption or selling it out but they used to keep one sack of seeds for the next crop and that seeds used to be exchanged with the neighbors कि भाई आप मेरा seed लो हम आपका seed ले and that's how we can develop the variety. This was the practice and now this practice have got a legislation, have got a right over this, farmers right over their own biological material. So under this act, the farmers have got lots of right. The third and again very very important act is the National Food Security Act, NFSA 2013. It came in the 2013 and the main objective of the National Food Security Act is to provide for food and nutritional security in the human life cycle approach by ensuring access to adequate quantity of quality food at affordable price to people to live life with dignity. So this is again one of the very, very strong act which says to provide for food and nutritional security in the human life cycle approach by ensuring access to adequate quantity of quality food at affordable price. So government ensure under this act, government ensure the quality and the quantity for everyone, for every human living in India, for every Indian nation. So under this, 75% of the rural population and up to 50% of the urban population for receiving subsidized food grains under targeted public distribution system. So under the National Food Security Act, 75% of the rural population and up to 50% of the urban population for receiving subsidized food grains under targeted public distribution system. Overall, NFSA caters to 67% of the total population. This is the responsibility of the government to provide food to each and every Indians, each and every person of Indian nation. And the eligibility is the priority household to be covered under TPDS, Targeted Public Distribution System, according to guideline by the state government. Household covered under existing Antyodaya Anna Yojana. Antyodaya Anna Yojana started by Government of India in 2000. Is the third largest scheme, and main aim of this scheme is to ensure the food security and remove the hunger from India. So if you see your people around, like we have our mates and all, they all are getting food for free or very, very every ration shop is giving food for free to every individual who comes under the poverty level. So this was the provision under this Antyodaya Anand Yojana. The government provide the provision 5 kg of food grains per person per month at rupees 321 per kg for rice, wheat, coarse grain. The existing Antyodaya Ananya Yojana household will continue to receive 35 kgs of food grains per household per month, जिसमें कि शायद 20 किलो चावल होता है और गेहूं 20 किलो गेहूं होता है, 15 किलो चावल होता है. So this is what the government, under this scheme, the government ensure that we should get, the people who are below the poverty level should get this much of food grain every month. Means 5 kg of food grains per month per person. So meal and maternity benefit of not less than rupees 6,000 to pregnant women and lactating mothers during pregnancy and 6 months after the childbirth. So the pregnant female, once they get pregnant, they get the 6,000 rupees, and for the pregnant female and the lactating mother during pregnancy and 6 months after the childbirth. आप प्रेगनेंसी के दौरान भी और प्रेगनेंसी के बाद जब चाइल्ड बर्थ हो जाती है उसके बाद भी यू आर एंटाइटल्ड टू गेट 6,000 rupees to have a child. Meal for children up to 14 years of age. Government has to is ensuring under this act, government is ensuring meal for children up to 14 years of age, and food security allowance to beneficiaries in case of non-supply of entitled food grains or meals. Setting up the grievances redressal mechanism at the district and state level. ऐसा नहीं है कि राशन की दुकान पे राशन आया और आप entitled है, आपको नहीं मिला. There are grievances committee, there are grievances redressal mechanism at the district level. So you can approach that and ensure your food. So now come to the, what is the global trend in the food production? So global trend in the food production is agriculture began around 12,000 years ago. We know this. Since 1900, global trend was diet simplification to the 12 plant crops and 14 animal species provide 98% of the food needs. Okay, and those plants are the wheat, rice, and maize, more than 50% of energy intake. This is the staple diet. Every house is making wheat, rice, and maize. This is compulsory food. Out of the 12 plants, these are the compulsory food every household make. And effect of diet simplification. More than 800 million people are nourished and 200 million children are underweight. In 2009, more than 1 billion people were classified as hungry, the highest number in history in 2009. Another 1 billion people suffer from micronutrient deficiency, including vitamin A, zinc, and iron. Greater incidence of type 2 diabetes among urban dwellers and vulnerability to catastrophic events, pest, and disease. So these are the effect of the diet simplification. Legacy of Green Revolution. In 1960, the Green Revolution started. Green Revolution means to have more and more food grain to ensure the food security. That was a wonderful scheme, but at the long term, we are suffering. There are every scheme has got its positive and negative. Government has to ensure secure the food security, and for that they started the legacy of Green Revolution. They started the Green Revolution. And the legacy of the Green Revolution is that disaggregation of agriculture and natural resource management, increase in food production have been achieved through high input, intensive and industrialized agriculture that is heavily dependent on the fossil fuel and agrochemical. And that resulted in the pollution, increased CO2 emission, land conversion, loss of biodiversity, uneven distribution of the food supply. These are the legacy of the Green Revolution, and that Green Revolution started in 1960s to have more and more food grains. But to have more and more, we compromise with the quantity, with the quality, by using the different fertilizers, pesticides to have more and more grain, to ensure the grain. So challenges to achieve global food security. We have different challenges to achieve global food security. One, the biggest challenge is the population growth. India is the third largest in population growth. Climate change, we know why climate change is taking place, because of the gases we are using. They are producing the different gases, and that gases, we have big reservoir like forest and the oceans. They trap the carbon and carbon dioxide, but we are producing the carbon dioxide more than it is required in the environment, more than it can be trapped by the forest and the oceans, surface of the oceans. So that is creating the global warming, and that global warming bringing the climate change. So population growth, climate change, food inequity. Food is still not, making lots of effort by the government, is still food is not distributed equally. There is a food inequity. Some are getting good food and some are not getting food, or maybe not quality food. Gender inequality, continued biodiversity loss. So these are the major challenges. These are the major challenges we have to, global challenges we have to deal with. So innovation for integrated biodiversity and food security, diversification of the production system, trees, crops, intercrops, and maintenance of the ecosystem services, including carbon storage, and conservation agriculture, fair and equitable access of the market, especially for the smallholder farmers, payment for environmental services. We have to pay for the environmental services. So we have different new approaches for integrating agriculture and biodiversity. There are different approaches like eco-agriculture. It was given in 2006 by Sher and uh, McNeely. So eco-farming is a farming method that combine innovative method and science-based research with respect for nature and biodiversity. It aims to minimize negative environmental impact while promoting long-term sustainability and the well-being of farmers, community, and consumers. Conservation agriculture. What is conservation agriculture? That was derived by Hobbes et al. In 2006. And conservation agriculture, as defined by the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, is a farming system and that promotes, conservation agriculture is the farming system that promotes maintenance of a permanent soil cover, because soil cover is very, very important for any kind of food production. Minimum soil disturbance and diversification of the plant species. And the next was the New Green Revolution, Times 2010, they gave. The New Green Revolution is a new generation of plant that can grow and yield grain for multiple seasons. Rather than dying after one season, they are more drought and stress resilience. The new crops, which we are talking about, the New Green Revolution, should be more drought and stress resilience, more tolerant of the pest, able to store more carbon, better able to access nutrients. So this is under the New Green Revolution, and new agriculture is actually the modern agriculture. Is agriculture is an evolving approach to the farmers, and using new equipments, new techniques, and all. So integrated, last is the integrated management of biodiversity, food, and agriculture. This was to ensure the food security, integrated management of biodiversity for food and agriculture. So biodiversity should be managed in such a way that it ensure the food security. We all know, most of us know the Sarguja story, a success story. In 2005, a group of 20 tribal women farmers from 6 villages in Sarguja district of India's central eastern state of Chhattisgarh realized the threat of the survival of a traditional rice variety called Zira Fool and formed a self-help group to protect and promote it. Zira Fool is a very, very good variety of the rice which grows in the Sarguja, and it was vanishing from there. And vanishing from there, so the group of the 20 tribal women decided that we should not let it go. We should conserve it because this is our pride. This is the Jira Fool is our identity. So these 20 tribal women farmers from 6 villages in Sarguja district in India, they made a group and protect this. Jira Fool is an indigenous superfine aromatic variety of rice. The cumin-like grain is very soft in mouth and remains flaky even after cooking. They are very long, good quality of rice, and they are being sold in the market at a very high price, more than 200 rupees for a kg. So this Jira Fool. So its popularity gradually increased in local market. The number of group members grew and they eventually registered their variety with plant variety of farmers. We have already discussed this act by the government that every farmers can register to the variety of the plants or food grains he or she is growing. So these women register this variety with plant variety of farmers Right Authority of India. The group then applied for a geographical indication tag. The Jira full variety is primarily grown only Sarguja district, which was approved on March 2019 for a period of 10 years. So till 10 years. I forgot to mention one thing that under the Convention on Biological Diversity, the Conservation of the Biodiversity Act 2002, there is one more provision. If somebody is taking the material from some area, they have to do the geotagging. Geotagging means they have to show, they have to write, they have to label that this product has been taken from this particular area. So that is called geographical indicator. You have to mention, the manufacturers have to mention from where this has been taken from. If somebody is selling the Jira Fool, some production industry is selling the Jira Fool, they might have collected from the Chhattisgarh, so they have to give the geographical indicator from where they have been collected from, and the benefit from this should be shared with the people from that area. So the group then applied for a geography, and that geographical indicating tag is valid for 10 years. And after 10 years, it is free for all. You can again go for further, you can extend the period. So this Jira Fool variety tagging was approved in 2019 for a period of 10 years, means 2029. The Jira Fool, the tribal people of Sarguja will be having the sovereign right over the Jira Fool. They are responsible for the growth. They should be acknowledged for this wonderful species. So this is about the food security, and the this is about the so this is all about the food security in India, and government is making many efforts to protect, to conserve the biodiversity, and each and every plant in the wild is very, very important, because ultimately we are collecting the wild variety. The people from Northeast India or from Bangladesh know about the Chinia Kela. Chinia Kela is the wild variety of the banana, and this is very, very rich in the very rich in the nutrition. The iron deficiency, the people with having iron deficiency should go for these kind of bananas. So we have lots of traditional medicine, lots of traditional food which give in if you go to the eastern UP or the Bihar side, sattu is very, very popular. So it is a very nutritious food. So government is giving us the right to protect, and not only protect, to ensure that this, because I am protecting, this is from my area, so I should be getting the right to protect, and I should be getting the benefit out of this. So this is all about the biodiversity. This everything is coming from the biodiversity. Everything is we are eating is part of the biodiversity. So this is all about my lecture about the biodiversity conservation and the food security in India, uh, in food security at the national level, and different efforts of the government. So I'm open for the question answer. If you have any question, just let me know. Please ask. And thank you very much for patience listening. No one disturbed in between, except I disturbed. I could not share some of my slides, maybe because of some technical issue and all. I'm a wildlife person, not a computer person. So thank you very much.
Thank you, madam.
Ma'am.
You can ask question as many as you want.
Okay,
Thank you, ma'am.
any question from audience participants? They may ask.
Hello.
Madam,
Yes.
it's a very informative presentation you have
Thank you,
made
madam.
today. We are
Thank
very
you.
grateful. Madam, my query is, I have seen that we have lost many of our indigenous species, food species, which were protected by the farmer earlier. But currently we have lost those species like rice varieties, for example. So because of the entry of the hybrid variety of rice, like in my place, I have seen the Ranjit rice like that.
Mhm.
So what we have lost, it is a great loss for the whole country. So is there any policy for preserving what we have now with us by the government of India or government of states? So
Yes.
yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
please continue. So your question is over. Actually, the government of India started a mega project for the documentation of the indigenous traditional knowledge system. Whatever, like for example, we have lots of Vad and Hakim. They are using lots of jari and booties, but they are not listed anywhere. So government has started such a scheme to list all those important species so that they can start further project to ensure the production of that variety. Whatever we lost, we cannot bring back, but we whatever we have, we try to save the originality. We save the seeds of these. And Navdanya in India is one of the largest organization, non-government organization run by Vandana Shiva. They are actually storing the original seeds. So whosoever wants to store the seeds, they can approach to the Navdanya, and whatever we lost, we cannot recreate. That is why government is having the emphasis on the biodiversity conservation. We have made three layers of the committees: National Biodiversity Board, State Biodiversity Board, and Biodiversity Committee. Biodiversity Committee is at the local level, and everyone, not only the government people, not only the people who have been given the employment to do this, the local people, the common man can ensure the protection and the conservation as well as listing of the biodiversity existing in that area. Until unless we know whatever we are having, we cannot protect. So this should be a cumulative effort. This should be a effort from all over us. The people, common people, should involve, and whatever we have, we should ensure that we should protect. The government has schemes time to time, and inside Indian National Science Academy have got a big project to conserve the traditional knowledge system.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. I agree with you. The
Thank you, madam.
common, the local level people can conserve the seeds and the variety of rice seeds which we have eaten in our childhood, but now they are not producing in the field.
Earlier we used to save the seeds. हम क्या करते थे, जो
Yes,
farmers होते थे, घरों में seeds save करते थे. और
Yes,
उन
ma'am.
सीड्स का
Yes.
हम एक्सचेंज करते थे टू हैव द
Yes.
बेटर इन बेटर वैरायटी. दैट ट्रेडिशन इज just confined to the village in small farmers. Now the big companies like the Monsanto that is in the US, they want to
Mm,
do the monopolization over the seed. There is a lots of seed policy. They gave
mm,
the BT cotton, the genetically modified crops, so that you don't produce these crops don't produce the seeds which you can use for the next crop, but they want that we should buy seeds, and those
mm.
seeds are genetically modified and very very expensive. So at the local level,
At the
conservation is
local
not
level.
the government thing. Conservation of biodiversity should be there with every common person. They should recognize, identify, and conserve at the local level. Then only we will be successful, because long ago the forest department, the environmental agencies has realized without the involvement of the local community we cannot do
Mm-hmm.
conservation. जंगल में एक बीड़ी काफी होती है, एक माचिस काफी होती है आग लगाने के लिए. फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट पूरा चाहे जितना प्रोटेक्ट कर ले,
Mm.
एक एक तीली से पूरा जंगल राख हो जाता है. तो लोकल का इन्वायरमेंट बहुत जरूरी है,
बहुत
एंड लोकल
जरूरी
को
है.
रियलाइज करना चाहिए. हम सबको ये रियलाइज करना चाहिए कि नहीं, ये चीज इंपॉर्टेंट है एंड वी हैव टू प्रोटेक्ट.
अभी रिसेंटली अभी मैंने एक आर्टिकल पढ़ी, उसमें फार्मर्स जो थे, एक पुराना एक बहुत ही सुगंधित चावल हमारे मैदानी एरिया में होता है, जैसे यूपी में ही बादशाह भोग शायद था या राम भोग करके था, वो बहुत दिनों से मार्केट में था ही नहीं. फिर किसानों ने उसको खोजते खोजते उसकी सीड्स को पाया, और फिर अब उनका प्रोडक्शन, इसका प्रोडक्शन कर रहे हैं. अब वो मार्केट में राइस आने आ रही है. मतलब इतना आश्चर्य लगा कि अरे अ, हमारे जो एग्रीकल्चर साइंटिस्ट हैं, प्रोडक्टिविटी बढ़ाने के उसमें नए नए सीड्स ले आते हैं फार्मर्स को देने के लिए, और वो उस पे सब्सिडी वगैरह नहीं लगती, तो फार्मर्स अपना ग्रोथ करने के लिए, मार्केट में बेचने के लिए फिर उन सीड्स का यूज करते हैं. लेकिन जो वो खुशबू, वो वैरायटी हम लोगों ने खाई थी, वो फिर नहीं मिल पा रही थी. तो ये सब चीजें तो लोकल लेवल पे ही की जा सकती
पॉसिबल
हैं.
है. आई
यस.
हैव गिवन अ वंडरफुल एग्जांपल ऑफ द जीरा राइस.
हम्म.
सरगुजा डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, सरगुजा इज अ प्लेस जहाँ पे ये खत्म हो चुका था.
खत्म हो
जीरा
चुका था.
राइस जो है वो खत्म हो चुका था. फिर लोकल्स ने कहा
हम्म.
कि भाई ये दिस इज आवर प्राइड, वी शुड हैव. तो
हम्म.
औरतों ने मिलकर एक ग्रुप बनाया और नाउ दे आर ग्रोइंग एंड इट्स वेरी वेरी एक्सपेंसिव. Or I
बहुत
also have
अच्छा.
eaten some 2 kg of jeera rice I got when I came
हाँ,
to from Jaunpur area. और
हाँ.
जब
यस
उसको हम
मैम.
पकाते
यस.
हैं तो, हाँ,
नाइस.
जब उसको पकाते हैं तो वो पूरे घर में खुशबू करता
अरे
है.
खुशबू, उसका आप चूड़ा बना लो, और उसका पोहा मैम, अरे घर में
पोहा,
आया पोहा बन के,
जी,
और उसके पोहा बनता था घर में, क्या मजा आ जाती थी.
एग्जैक्टली एग्जैक्टली. जो
हाँ.
पुरानी चीजें हैं, जो देखिए
हम्म.
गवर्नमेंट के पास, गवर्नमेंट इज आल्सो प्रेशराइज, अंडर प्रेशर, बिकॉज दे
यस.
हैव टू इंश्योर द फूड सिक्योरिटी, हैव टू.
हम्म.
वो इस तरह की
हम्म.
क्रॉप्स इजाद कर रहे हैं जिसमें कि ज्यादा से ज्यादा प्रोडक्शन हो सके, जिसमें कि कोई घर भूखा न सोए. कहीं ना
हम्म.
कहीं हम इसमें क्वालिटी और क्वालिटी कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर रहे हैं. ओरिजिनलिटी ऑफ सीड्स इज वेरी वेरी.
हम्म. इसीलिए मिलेट्स को ला रहे हैं, तरह 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 के
ये सारी पुरानी
यूज के
चीजें हैं जो
लिए.
हम लोग खाते थे. हमारी
यस.
मदर बाजरे की रोटी, मक्के की रोटी,
हम्म.
कितने पे बनती थी ये सब चीजें. आपके बच्चे नहीं जानते हैं ये सब चीजें.
ना ना. लेकिन अब
ये
वो
सारी
कितने
चीजें.
रिफाइंड फॉर्म में आ रही है, और उसकी वैरायटी इतनी उसके इतने घर में इतनी चीजें तैयार की जा रही हैं कि अब बच्चे भी उसको लाइक कर रहे हैं. बिस्किट्स
एग्जैक्टली.
हैं, कुकीज है, उसकी
हम्म.
कुकीज वगैरह. तो अच्छा है ये एक नया
देखिए
स्टेप है.
सेंस.
लेकिन लोकल लेवल
हाँ,
पे, और हमारी जो वो एसएचजी ग्रुप की महिलाएं हैं, अगर वो सामने लाती हैं, तो बहुत अच्छा होगा आगे के लिए. फूड
ये
सिक्योरिटी
हम
का एक बहुत
सबको,
बड़ा.
हम सबको मिलके ये एफर्ट करना पड़ेगा. अकेला कोई भी आदमी, अगर आप ये सोचे कि गवर्नमेंट सब कुछ
हाँ.
करेगी, तो गवर्नमेंट में भी तो हम ही लोग हैं. कितना
यस
हम
मैम.
कर सकते हैं
यस.
जब तक हम खुद नहीं बचाएंगे. हमें
या.
गवर्नमेंट को बताना तो होगा कि जी यहाँ पे
हम्म.
ये है, हम तैयार हैं आपकी साथ देने के लिए, आप हमें
हम्म.
मदद करो. एंड दे आर रेडी टू हेल्प यू आउट. दे आर गिविंग फंड्स फॉर सच
हाँ,
काइंड ऑफ
हाँ. टू
क्रॉप्स
मच
एंड
फंड्स दे
एवरीथिंग.
आर गिविंग. हम्म.
So, लेकिन एक चीज अच्छी है, सुप्रीम कोर्ट has made it mandatory at the school level to study the environmental sciences. Environmental study is a
हम्म.
compulsory
हम्म.
course in all the schools, and that's how the small kids are being sensitized. Environment is a compulsory कि हम ले
Yes.
तो रहे हैं, भाई हमें
और
रियलाइजेशन
क्या?
तब हुआ कोविड में कि वो
हम्म
ऑक्सीजन जो हम फ्री ले रहे हैं,
हम्म
the minimum cost is 800 rupees, और मैंने कोविड में 60,000 का एक सिलेंडर खरीदा था जो कि 8 घंटे चला था।
बाप
तो
रे।
कोविड जैसी चीजें
हाँ
आई तो इट वाज वेरी अनफॉर्चुनेट, बट इसने एक सबक भी सिखाया हम लोग
सबक
को
भी सिखा दिया लोगों को।
कि जो हम ब्रीथ कर रहे हैं ये कहीं ना कहीं कोई ना कोई पे कर रहा है। जो पेड़ के हम आम खा
हम्म
रहे हैं किसी ने तो लगाया है, तो ऐसा क्यों
हम्म
ना हो कि हम भी लगाएं पेड़। और पेड़ लगाने से ये तो सवाब जारिया है, जो भी उस पेड़ के नीचे खड़ा होगा वो आपको दुआएं देगा। एक रिक्शे वाला जब जून में यहाँ से गुजरता है या हम पैदल जा रहे हैं चिलचिलाती
और उसकी छाव में
धूप में,
बैठता है तो
तो जब एक पेड़ के नीचे
यस।
खड़े होकर सुकून की सांस लेते तो जिसने लगाया उसको कितनी दुआएं कितनी प्रेयर्स मिलती होंगी। तो ये तो हम सबको अपनी एक्शन में रखना चाहिए कि नहीं, वी हैव टू डू समथिंग फ्रॉम दी फॉर द इन्वायरमेंट, बिकॉज इन्वायरमेंट इज डूइंग अ लॉट फॉर अस।
यस
Yes, madam. Actually,
यस
we should conserve our indigenous values and indigenous knowledge, what we have, our forefathers have done. And in my area, I belong to Assam state, and we have the cultural festivals like Bihu. In Bihu, you know,
Exactly.
we used to
Exactly.
have the sticky rice, which we call
Yeah,
bora sao.
celebrate on the
Uh,
sunrise.
the sticky rice, yeah, we are able to conserve that yet. We will continue that hopefully. So very nice presentation, ma'am. Very nice
Yes,
topic you have
very
chosen.
nice.
Exactly.
Thank you very much.
Very nice.
स्टिकी राइस पे हमें याद आया, ब्लैक राइस इज फ्रॉम द नॉर्थ ईस्ट एंड
Yes, ma'am.
very very high. One of my friend have gifted me black rice, but I do not know how to cook. So later on, recently I came to know that you have to soak the rice, then you have, and it is
Right.
very rich source of antioxidant,
Right.
very very rich. I thought it is very cheap. शक्ल अच्छी नहीं लग रही थी, but when I saw the amazing, it was 200 rupees for a kg. तो मैंने उसको डब्बे में पैक करके रख दिया है कि नहीं भाई स्पेशल ओकेजन पे खाएंगे हम लोग।
Right. Very nice. Shashi ma'am is also very much enthusiastic in cooking, I think.
Not only
Cooking is
cooking,
passion for everyone.
also in
Right.
information. And actually, my subject is geography. So it's a broad
Okay.
subject, and I had written one article on food security. So have some knowledge about it.
You.
Thank
So
you.
any
Thank
more
Ma'am,
questions?
ma'am,
Yeah.
yeah, since you were talking about the COVID times, initially when the COVID time started and the lockdown was imposed, there were viral images of the species who that cannot travel into the urban spaces. They could pretty much travel into the dolphins were seen in the Mumbai beach. These were sceneries, but later on, uh, we saw a huge spike, a huge rise in case of animal poaching, illegal animal poaching during the COVID times. So, if we cannot eradicate poverty, and if we do not have an equitable distribution of the resources in the Anthropocene world that we are right now, I don't think conservation can be really a reality when it comes to practice. So,
Exactly.
what are your thoughts about?
Yes, you are right. We have first thing, अगर हम किसी से ये बोलेंगे, if we say somebody to conserve the tiger, if we say a hungry people that you should conserve the tiger, so he won't be conserving the tiger. Rather, he will be, and the other poacher is saying, you kill the tiger, I'll give you 1 lakh. So he will prefer to kill the tiger. So for any work, हम लोग क्या कहते हैं ना, पहले पेट पूजा फिर भजन फिर काम दूजा. Until unless your hunger is not removed, you are hungry, you will be in dirt, because the primary thing is to fulfill your requirement of your family. So government has already realized this, And for any, if you go to the protected areas, the they are encouraging the local and they are giving the employment to the local, so that remove the poverty. We are exponentially growing. Our population is exponentially growing, and government
ये
is
सबसे
making.
बड़ी दिक्कत है शायद, because if the population is not controlled, then this spike of providing food security would be always be maximized. In that sense, we need to go for processes like green revolution further and further. We have to extend it, and that might endanger the entire conservation that we are trying to look for.
Exactly. I mean, on the name of the green revolution, we are using the pesticides, we are using the fertilizers. And what happened after 60s? It started after so many years. After 60 years, we are getting the adulterated water. Water is not pure. The food is not pure. The vegetable, the vegetable taste which we grow in our kitchen garden is totally different from the vegetable we buy from the market,
And
because
the recent scenario of Ladakh, the recent scenario of Joshimat, you were talking about the langurs. I
yes,
was really thinking about the hangul in Kashmir, the red stag. It's already endangered. It's already gone. So in that sense, these scenarios are really problematic, and the population spike would definitely lead to disaster. It is.
yes, I agreed. I agreed. So everyone has to make their own effort. We have to share in the. We have to give our share in the conservation. Until unless we realize we cannot conserve, so we have to do. We have to start from our home itself by starting by planting a tree at least. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank
Any
you.
further question?
Thank you.
So, Dr. Masood,
Hello. Thank you. Hello. Uh, हेलो
yeah.
हाँ मैं मेरा एक क्वेश्चन था
जी,
मैं डॉक्टर अमरनाथ वैसे सोशियोलॉजी से मैं हूँ मैम एक चीज ये जानना था जैसे फूड सिक्योरिटी में एक तो वही बात की जाती है कि सभी तक भोजन उपलब्ध हो और इसके लिए लोकल प्रोडक्शन ग्लोबल प्रोडक्शन सब पे ध्यान दिया जा रहा है और उपलब्ध भी हो रहा है लेकिन दूसरी तरफ मैम अभी आपने थोड़ा सा उस पर प्रकाश डाला था इस चीज पे कि जैसे वो सभी तक भोजन पहुंचे इसके लिए केमिकल्स पेस्टिसाइड्स फर्टिलाइजर्स का इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है तो कहीं ना कहीं मैम तो एक जो फूड के प्योरिटी की बात है या तो उसके लिए कहीं ना कहीं एक चैलेंजेस भी तो पैदा हो रही है तो इसको आप मैम किस नजरिए से देखती हैं आप मैम इस पे थोड़ा सा प्रकाश आप डालें
government is promoting for the organic farming, and we have to be, actually the government has the set rules for the fertilizers. लेकिन क्या होता है कि जो फार्मर्स होते हैं, जैसे आपको कोई फर्टिलाइजर 3 ml डालना है, तो इन पैनिक की या परेशान होकर वो 3 की जगह 9% डाल देते हैं. वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड इज वर्किंग विद द fertilizers and all in Bangalore. तो she told me that farmer जो है जो required quantity होती है उससे ज्यादा डाल देते हैं. तो we have to make this assurance that they should not use more fertilizer, and using more fertilizer they are actually polluting. So जो काम आप 1 ml में कर सकते हैं, 1 ml chemical in 1 liter of water, वो basically farmers 3 times यूज कर रहे हैं, जिससे हमारी ग्राउंड वाटर ही नहीं बल्कि ये. तो कहीं ना कहीं हमको उनको कन्विंस करना है कि वॉट एवर वी हैव प्रिस्क्राइबिंग is enough. We should not use more, or definitely we should promote the farmers for the organic farming, and we government should provide all the possible help. And the big farmers are actually going through, but the issue is that the organic farming, it's a very slow process, very slow process. They try to maintain it is fertilization free, this thing. So we all have to make effort. We are doing, but the first thing is that the population, we have to, at some point of time, we have to control the population, because with the growing population, there is an insecurity of the food. To ensure the food security, We have to control the population, and we have to motivate the people for having more and more organic farming. That is a big challenge before the government. That is a really big challenge before the government, and they are working on it. They are doing something for it, and hope they will be doing some good thing in the future. So organic farming is one of the alternative, but the organic food is expensive.
Okay,
The
thank you,
sugar which
ma'am.
usually we buy for 40 rupees in the local market, the organic sugar is sold for 200 rupees for a kg. So there is a difference, and people will definitely go for the sugar which is having the low cost, and that is developed,
जी
that
जी
has grown with the use of the chemicals. So these are the issues, these are the big challenges. Let's see what
यानी
we
मैम एक परचेजिंग कैपेसिटी अभी एक कहीं ना कहीं चैलेंजेस है। अगर ऑर्गेनिक फार्मिंग का प्रोडक्शन हमें खरीदना है तो आम जनता के लिए कहा जाए तो कहीं ना कहीं चैलेंजेस है उसके लिए भी।
challenges तो है, इसीलिए गवर्नमेंट कह रही इक्वल डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ द फूड, इक्वल जो पीरियड सिस्टम चला रही वो इसलिए चला रही कि एवरी वन शुड बी फूड। अब वो फूड कैसा है, दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट. Government should ensure that the free food which they are providing to the poor people should be pure, they should maintain, control the quality. And that is again a big challenge. That is again a big challenge because the food उनको मिल रहा है क्योंकि वो they are hungry, they need something to eat. Whatever they are getting, they are not bothering what quality they are getting. They are, भाई हमारे यहाँ जो मेड है, शी इज वेरी हैप्पी कि मैडम वी आर गेटिंग सो मच ऑफ फूड विदाउट वर्किंग, without paying anything. So for them it's a big relief, but first thing is that to fulfill the requirement, the second is the quality comes later on. So the government has to ensure the quality, and they have to control the quality um, of this kind of food. We even we cannot afford the organic food every day. We have to like suppose if somebody is using 10 kg sugar, that is one component, one compulsory component in every house. So they will always prefer 40 rupees kg sugar instead of going for 200. 40 rupees for 10 kg is just 400, and 200 rupees for 10 kg is 2000. So it's a large difference. तो लोग क्या करते हैं, अपने लिए तो ऑर्गेनिक रखते हैं, जो मेहमान आता है उसके लिए 40 रुपए वाली रख लेते हैं. This is what we do, but we have to ensure these kind of um, we have to ensure the purity. First thing is the food grain, abundant food grain, and the quality comes later on. But the government intention to maintain the quantity as well as the quality also. So population is a major issue in India.
यस मैम, थैंक्स मैम।
Welcome. Anybody else? So many comments, questions are there. I think most of them I have answered. Thank you, Mamta ji. You like my session? Thank you. Amol Davas. Thank you. So with this, I think I should end my session. Thank you very much. With the permission of
Thank
the
you, ma'am.
coordinators, can I
थैंक यू
leave?
मैम।
Thank you, ma'am. It's
Thank you,
excellent.
ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you,
ma'am.
Thank you
ma'am.
very
Very
much,
nice
madam.
information
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
about
Have a nice day
difficulty.
and have an interesting.
थैंक यू
Thank you,
मैम।
ma'am.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मैडम जी।
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
हेलो हेलो मसूद मसूद सर नमस्कार। हेलो कलीम सर।
So, dear participants,
जी जी कलीम सर
now
नमस्कार सर।
I am closing this session, and we will again meet at 11 a.m. sharp for another session. So just
पेमेंट के
have
बारे में
a
पूछना था।
half hour break, And
Sir,
again
what
meet
about
at
home assignment?
11 a.m. sharp.
Sir,
Thank
what
you.
about
Thank you
home
so much.
assignments?
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Thank you, sir. See you in the next session.